Well, as I mentioned today, we're in the home of Edina Williams, who's desperately trying to get on with Sunday lunch, and I'm told that it's chicken on the menu today, but we keep interrupting her. And also with me is Peter Stringer, who's from the Maidstone Housing Trust. Edina, this used to be a council house, but 3 years ago it transferred to a housing association. What difference has it made for you?
Well, we've had quite a lot of work done in the house. We've got new kitchen, new bathroom, and we had new doors and a new boiler. And generally speaking, I feel that the tenants themselves get a much bigger opportunity now to have a say in what's happening in their homes.
Do you think all this would have happened if the council had kept control, though? Do you think you would have got your new kitchen anyway?
We probably would have got a new kitchen, not as quickly, and I don't think it would be as good a quality as what we've got. And obviously the council, I don't think, would have had sufficient money to do the vast number of properties that have been done with the Maidstone Housing Trust.
Peter, earlier in the programme we were hearing from Brighton Council, a council who's against the housing association, painted you out to be like the devil, really. What's in it for you? What does a housing association get from taking on a lot of houses that need a lot of work doing to them?
Well, I think, Paul, unlike local authorities, for every £100 that we raise, that they can raise from their funds, we can add another 200 by private borrowing. What that means in our case is that we've been able to spend £40 million regenerating 2 of our major estates, and we've delivered over 2,500 new bathrooms and kitchens since we transferred 2.5 years ago. We're a not-for-profit organisation, and we're very much about involving our tenants and customers in shaping the services.
You say you're not a profit. I mean, why on earth would a housing association want to come along, spend all that money and not make a profit? Doesn't make good business sense, does it?
Because, well, Paul, we're like many other charities in that our mission is about improving the quality of lives for people in the communities in which we work.
Let me put a few points to you that were raised earlier in the programme. That houses that are owned by a housing association, the rent goes up more than council homes.
Well, that's clearly a fallacy, because under government rent restructuring proposals which were approved in 2002, by the end of the rent restructuring period, by April 2012, all housing association rents and council rents will be similar for the same type, age of property and the type of amenities in the property. So that's covered in that way.
You say you're a charity. What's tended to happen in other parts of the country is that a little housing association comes in and then it's taken over by a bigger company, and a bigger company takes over that, and before you know it, you've got a company that's trying to make money rather than doing it for not-for-profit.
That's not true, Paul, because all housing associations are registered and regulated by a government body called the Housing Corporation, who ensure that we don't generate profits. And in the case of mergers that you were talking about, generally they've only been carried out where they're in tenants' best interests, and there's been efficiency savings, which then gets ploughed into reinvestment in the housing stock.
Just coming back to Edina, you talked briefly about having more of a say now at the Housing Trust. What kind of things do you have a say in? What decisions do you make?
Well, at the moment I'm Vice Chair of the Maidstone Residents Group, which takes into account the whole of the borough of Maidstone. We have representatives in our group from all over the borough, and from those members we have people sitting on various panels: kitchen and bathroom programme, gas monitoring services, antisocial behaviour, editorial panel. Everything that goes on within the trust is run past us now.
And we talked about rent. Have you noticed that your rent has gone up dramatically in the last few years?
No, not any more than it would have done through the council. I don't think it's made an awful lot of difference.
And what's been said in the place, you may get a say because you're on the committee, but most of the tenants don't get a say.
They can have a say, and the Maidstone Residents Group is always asking tenants to come forward, come along to our meetings, get in touch with me, get in touch with Ken Stevens, our chairperson. You can be a street rep, a block rep, an area rep, any way you want to be involved.
Just one more question. Is the roast chicken big enough for all of us?
I doubt it.
OK, well, we'll leave it there. We'll let you get on. There might be enough for some of us. Let's wander outside, because we've been speaking